And subhanAllah, there I was able to find some good Muslim sisters who helped me learn some Arabic and learn some Quran, memorize some surahs of Quran. And about a year and a half later, I was introduced to my husband and was married. And now I have 5 beautiful children.
بدأت ضيفتنا خطوتها الأولى وما كان إلا بتوفيق من الله تعالى أن يسر لها دربها.
I think probably the most precious thing that's happened to me, my mother took her Shahada last year. And I traveled back to the U.S. and spent 6 months with her. And alhamdulillah, Allah has really blessed her. That I used to make dua. When I first became Muslim, I would, every time I bent my knees, I would say, oh Allah, just let her take Shahada. I think she's the best woman. I see how she sacrificed for each one of her children and devoted herself. I really think that she deserves Shahada, you know? And through all of these years, every time when she would come to visit or I would go to visit her, I always felt sad that she just didn't accept Islam. And subhanAllah, I saw the mercy when we went back last year. 2 years ago, she was diagnosed with lymphoma type B, and it's a rare form of cancer. And they tried to initiate chemotherapy, and I really wasn't happy about it, and I prayed about it a lot, and there was an abscess in her port, so they couldn't start the chemotherapy. So they did another port, and then she had a heart attack. And so subhanAllah, they weren't able to do the chemotherapy for her, which was a blessing, because she was able to be stronger and spend more time with us and learning about Islam. And alhamdulillah, she did take her Shahada and accepted Islam. I also have one brother, my youngest brother, who accepted Islam about 15 years ago. And mashallah, in our area, like I said, 25 years ago, there were no Muslims. Absolutely none. There were just, and I went back this last year and was able to spend some time. And I live in a small college. There's a university. And mashallah, they had built a masjid. And mashallah, it was full of American Muslims. I mean, there were other nationalities and stuff there, but subhanAllah, it was full of American, more American than any other thing. And we were so happy to see that growth of Islam in America. And even subhanAllah, we were there for Ramadan. And my first Ramadan, I look back and not, you know, just becoming Muslim and looking back on the practices, the new prayer in the evening time. And alhamdulillah, I had the community around me. It was in San Francisco. And subhanAllah, we know in the medical side of fasting, subhanAllah, a person who's not, there's a nice book on nutritional healing, and there's a whole section on fasting, and it talks about the benefits of fasting. It says if you're ill with like a virus or something, fast 3 days. And what's the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Fast 13th, 14th, and 15th of each month. This is if you have a small virus. If you have something that's a little bit, you know, more harsh on your body, then you fast for 10 days. And if you have a serious life-threatening illness, you fast for 1 month. SubhanAllah, this is what this book says, who's written by a non-Muslim. So subhanAllah, we see the benefits of fasting, and even that first Ramadan was, it was difficult, because in the American concept of giving up food for a full day from sunrise to sunset was very difficult. No water, no food. But alhamdulillah, you feel after 3 days or 4 days how your body needed that rest, and subhanAllah, how you benefited from it. And also spiritually, how you gain from the month of Ramadan, subhanAllah.
سناء ككل المسلمين أحبت الخير لكل أحبائها كما أحبته لنفسها.
We had talked, you know, it's like I told you, we bent our knees, and not only me, my children also prayed for their grandmother, that, you know, and my mother's been in the hospital for about 2 years, where she wasn't released, where she's been kept in the hospital. And we called her one evening. It was her birthday, and even though we don't celebrate birthdays, it was her birthday, and she celebrates, and she's lets everyone know. And I said, Mother, what would you like? And she's lets everyone know. And I said, Mother, what would you like for your birthday? She said, come take me out of this hospital and take me for dinner somewhere. So me and my sons drove, it was like 100 miles, so to her, and we got her and took her out to her favorite restaurant. And as we were sitting at the restaurant, it was time for Mugger prayer. So as she was finishing eating, we said, Mom, it's time for us to pray. Now, should we take you back to the hospital first? The masjid's very close to us here. Should we go to the masjid? And she said, no, I'll go to the masjid with you tonight. And I'm like, are you sure? The weather's cold. It was January. It was freezing cold. And she says, no, for sure. I want to go to the masjid with you tonight. Would you take me with you? And so we went to the masjid. It was very cold Louisiana night. It was raining and a little bit of sleet coming, ice with the rain. And we just wrapped her up. And I had bought her this beautiful shawl that it had hand embroidery on it. And it was a nice, beautiful wool color. And she was wearing it wrapped around her head like a scarf, because I told her if you go in the masjid, you have to cover your head. So she had it wrapped up nicely like a hijab. And we went inside the imam's office and set her. We went and prayed. When we come back, the imam was talking with her. And subhanAllah, discussing Islam. And when I remember coming into the room, he was like, well, do you believe in one God? She says, of course I believe in one God. Do you think I believe in more than one God? No, I only believe in one God. He asked, do you believe that Muhammad is the prophet, last prophet and messenger of God? And she said, yes, I believe in Muhammad. And he said, well, then why don't you take your shahada? She said, I'll take my shahada now. And subhanAllah, everyone was crying. There wasn't many people, but the few that were there, even the imam, he said, you know, I wouldn't take $1 million.
تعلمت سناء أن تسأل الخالق وتتقرب إليه في حياتها، وخصوصا عند الحاجة، فهو سبحانه المعطي.
Another, you know, throughout my life and times that I've had confirmation that Islam is the right way. There was, in 1995, I was diagnosed with cancer. And there was a long period of time where I literally went from doctor to doctor for them trying to find out what was wrong with me. And after 2 or 3 months, I found one doctor, and she said, oh, I see your problem. You know, she took some biopsies, and she called me the next morning, and she said, you have this type of cancer. And so it was, I had a new baby. He was a few months old. And I was so sad. I was just thinking, oh, subhanAllah, here I am sick now, and I have this baby. And it was after the Dhuhr prayer, I went, and I spent most of my day praying, because just for God to give me some direction. And when I went to sleep at the Dhuhr time, after the Dhuhr prayer, I had a dream that I saw this, there was a man, he was maybe like 10 feet in front of me, and he was knelt down, and he was eating, you know, some dates. And as he would eat, he would put the seed, and he'd take another date. And I was wondering, what am I sitting watching this man for? And as I was standing there, Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, came to my back. He was right here. I could like see his face in my peripheral vision. And he said, Sana'a, do you know who this is? And I said, no, who is this? He said, that's Abu Bakr Siddiq. And I was so excited that this is Abu Bakr Siddiq. I don't realize this is Rasulullah speaking with me. And I'm just, this is Abu Bakr Siddiq, this is, oh my, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And then Rasulullah kept telling me his whole life he gave to the people. His whole life he gave. And subhanAllah, you know, during this time my daughter woke me up. So I came And I was thinking, what did this dream mean? What could it mean? So we called one shack, and he mentioned to me, he said, if you're sure this was dates that Abu Bakr Siddiq was eating, then subhanAllah, he didn't come to tell you that you're going to die. He came to tell you that you're going to have life. And subhanAllah, he said, you sure it wasn't Zaytun? Zaytun has a pit also. I said, no, it was Tamar. He said, no. He came to tell you you're going to have life. And subhanAllah, they found many complications with my cancer, from my throat to 4 tumors in my lungs. But subhanAllah, when I went to America, they were confirmed here by tissue samples, by specimens. We sent them to America and they were confirmed. When I went there, I had the initial surgery. And subhanAllah, by the time they took it out, they said it was finished. SubhanAllah, Allah cured me, you know. Had 2 confirmations and positive biopsy specimens, and Allah decided to cure me. Alhamdulillah. So SubhanAllah, his dream to me meant that, Alhamdulillah, he would give me life and did, SubhanAllah.
خلق الله تعالى البشر لعبادته، وأينما وجد المسلم فهو داعية للدين الحق.
In closing, there's just a couple of things, advices that I would like to say. In America, we had many chances to make a dawah, and subhanAllah, there were so many converts while we were in Denver of people. Denver and Colorado, they have very open minds. The people there are not bigoted like the people in the South and have more of an open mind to religion. But my advice, or not advice, is for anyone who wants to make a dawah to a non-Muslim, especially to a Christian, you have like 2 or 3 seconds to say, to either capture this person's attention or to lose them. And the most important thing that you let a Christian know is, I believe in Jesus. I believe in the Immaculate Conception. I believe in the virgin birth. I believe Jesus ascended into heaven. And I believe Jesus is coming again. And when Christians think that a Muslim believes that, they go, oh, no, you don't. You believe in Jesus, you know. And when you tell them, we believe in more miracles of Jesus than you do as a Christian, you know, then their mind is opened more into studying about Islam and to studying the beauty of Islam. And my advice to any person who is in the path now looking to just enlighten themselves about Islam is to just have an open mind and do what I said. Ask God to show you the way to Jannah. You're not asking Him to show you a religion. You're asking for a path, a way that could lead you to heaven. That's what we need. I mean, in actuality, we have one chance at life, one chance to win. And when we sit in front of God, we hope we get our book on the right side, inshallah, on the right hand.